Isabel Brown with us. She is the host of the Isabel Brown Show on all social platforms or Daily Wire. Plus, Isabel, I think first time we've had you on radio, but you and I go way back from the first TV and the digital days. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. So excited to be here. I actually think I have been on once, if memory serves, a year and a half plus ago, right before the release of my book. And it's crazy how much life has changed since then. So it's great to be back.
Fantastic to have you back. Your memory is better than mine, which is not surprising because I'm about to be 44 years old. So I am getting more forgetful. So welcome back. It's been 18 months. We should have had you back sooner, but here we are.
Absolutely.
Hope the book was fantastic, by the way. So just take us into the scene a little bit here. 10 years ago, I used to do CNN. It's been a long time now. It's basically been about 10 years since I've done CNN. You were on CNN last night. We'll play. Oh, we have the cut for everybody. So what is the show? You can tell everybody what this one is. This was
Abby Phillips' panel show that runs during the 10 p.m. hour. And boy, it was pretty spicy last night. I gotta tell you.
Yeah. So let's let everyone hear just a little taste, a little snippet here. This is cut 27. Play it.
You can speculate all you want, but the authorities who are charging this guy haven't laid out a motive. That's all I've said. The other thing is that, no, I'm not suggesting that he was tied to stop the steal, but I'm not sure why you think that would be
had he been discovered right after January 6th,
so
would he have been included in the pardonings from individuals who participated?
So it's called a hypothetical. Had he been prosecuted alongside all of those other people who were involved in violent acts on January 6th, would Donald Trump have pardoned him?
No, because individuals who walked into the Capitol building on January 6th were not planting pipe bombs.
What about
the DNC
But what
and
about
the
the ones that
use
use the American flag?
But again, it's rich to me that now the media is saying we have no idea what the motive is for this person.
Hold on.
This network, MSNBC,
Isabel, what about the people
within 48 hours of January 6th,
what about the people who used an American flag
this was
beat
intended
police
to
officers?
Foment additional chaos, to detract from law enforcement.
Saying the media as if you're not at this table.
I get that you don't want to. I get that you don't want to grapple with the facts of what happened. No, well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What about the people who assaulted and beat police officers on January 6th?
I have regularly said,
so do you
anyone who
think,
commits a violent crime
do you think
should be prosecuted to the
that they are
just
trespassing, that they were wrongfully prosecuted,
well,
that they should have been set
people
free?
Didn't beat police officers on January 6th.
Okay. Sorry. Isabel, I know. Everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? It's like they're in the middle of the scrum, the melee that's going on there. Can I give it to you to just make your initial point? Because it seems like the host there / whoever else is kind of, chiming in, doesn't understand that walking into the Capitol and taking a selfie and planting a pipe bomb are different things. Help work through that for us.
Well, it's obvious that everything is violence except actual violence to the left, right? Words are violence, ideas are violence, the American flag is violence, but planting pipe bombs actually isn't violent, I guess, according to CNN. That was just one of many different topics we covered on this very fiery panel last night. I, of course, being the metaphorical punching bag, where every question I was asked, 2 words in, the host just immediately spoke over me and completely ignored everything that I was saying. For example, I answered that question, I think there was one snippet there, about if violent protesters deserve to be pardoned or not. I said, of course not. If anyone is beating a police officer, of course they need to be in prison for such behavior. And then she just completely ignored that 6 or 7 times. But what was really interesting to me is this panel was so obsessed with running interference for anyone that they remotely associated with being on the left. And when it came to this particular conversation about the arrest that was made against Brian Cole Jr., the alleged pipe bomber from January 5th is when he planted those bombs, 2021, but they were discovered on January 6th in the midst of all the chaos. They literally had the audacity to say, well, let's just state the obvious. This guy's black, so he'll never get a presidential pardon for planting pipe bombs. The obsession that these people have, particularly the left-wing establishment media, with excusing any sort of political violence as long as it fits their agenda. If that's something as ridiculous as planting a pipe bomb or a school shooting against Catholic school children because they're Catholic and therefore are somehow extremists for our country, or even all-out assassinations of people like our friend Charlie Kirk, it's becoming so obvious to me in the last 3 months, more than ever before in my career, that the demons are getting louder and evil is being exposed with every passing day. The literal darkness I felt in the CNN studio yesterday was very palpable. I said that to my team as I walked out. And I'm realizing after these last few months, I don't know that I'll ever be the same again, realizing how strong that evil has taken hold in our country.
So we just went into kind of an intense and serious direction there, but it is a Friday. And I'm actually now, Isabel, I don't think you can see this, but I am now holding the famous fellow known as Baby Speed.
Oh, I can't see. I wish I could.
he's anyone who's watching on the YouTube can see it, and he's now speaking up a little bit. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Oh, he's grabbing the microphone. He's a lot of fun. This is what happens during live radio. You and I have a child about the same age. Whoa, okay. He loves the mic. I'm going to give him back now. We have a child about the same age. That was just for all the video watchers. What's it like? What's the whole parent thing been like for you? And whoa, there he is. Sorry.
I love that Baby Speed wants to have his own podcast because my daughter Isla constantly is talking all the time. I keep saying there's a lot of money to be had in a baby podcast somewhere, so maybe we should start one. I love it. I had my daughter at the end of April. Her birthday was April 30th, and truly, as I'm sure you know, as a new parent, my whole life has changed in all of the best ways since then. I am a completely different person. I view the world completely differently, but in the most beautiful, holistic way. I think there's such a greater purpose to what I do every day. It gives me a reason to jump out of bed in the morning, to know exactly what I'm fighting for, and I've never experienced this depth of love ever before in my life. It is truly magical.
It is incredible. I love being a parent every single day, and even the days when the sleep is not great, and maybe Speed is a pretty amazing baby, but he can be, he's a baby. He can get a little fussy sometimes at night. I will say my wife is incredible, and she handles like 90% of the really challenging stuff. But I pitch in sometimes. I try to be a very involved dad. But I do think, and are you Gen Z, or are you like, you're Gen Z?
I'm very, very proudly the first year of Gen Z. I will wear that as a badge of honor till the day I die.
You are Gen Z. I think that there is, just from my observation, that people are now in the culture here in America thinking about family and building families in a more, just generally in a very positive way, but also, I'm talking about the youth, the young people now, and at a younger age. Like, I feel like there has been a shift toward family, toward thinking at least about family. The numbers I know don't bear this out. The numbers are that we're going down, but I feel like the conversation has changed. Is that wishful thinking on my part? How do you see it?
I think that's a very beautiful and accurate diagnosis of where young people's culture is at in this country. You're right. The numbers are very, very sad when it comes to the state of America's fertility rate. That includes just the choice to have children. We are at a 100-year low fertility rate in our country, which is coupled with one of the lowest marriage rates we've ever had in our country's history. That is the legacy and story, sadly, of the millennial generation, who was constantly bombarded with anti-marriage and anti-family messaging. That messaging has gotten so overtly loud and honestly crazy, like people are actually running headlines like the Los Angeles Times last year just before the election. It is almost shameful to want to have children. Real headline. That I think people are starting to see between the lines and read between all of this craziness to realize there is a very clear agenda to make you lonely, depressed, and miserable. I mean, for God's sakes, the last Surgeon General of the United States, our top-ranking doctor under the Biden admin, actually issued a public health warning that parenting is dangerous to your health. This was real, on the record from the federal government, because it seems making more people somehow makes you more lonely, which makes no sense, right? But young people are also having this massive revival of faith. And I think so much of that has to do with voices like Charlie Kirk, like the Clay and Buck show here, and so many other people that are tapping into this spiritual crisis young people have had for several generations now, realizing we have to fight for what is good and true and beautiful in culture way more than we ever fight for politics. And at the cornerstone of that is reviving the American family. All of my friends are engaged, married, or having babies. My best friend, shout out to Savannah, had her baby last night, first baby. And it's just so exciting to see that revival of family all across our country led by Gen Z.
I also think, this is maybe a little bit of an aside, but it's related. They've walked back, and Bill Gates and others have walked back some of the climate change, doomerism stuff that's out there. And I feel like they owe an apology to people. They managed to convince some people. This was a real thing. It's hard to think that it could be, but it was real, that climate extinction or climate change extinction was so severe, meaning that if people didn't stop having kids, we would go extinct because we would overstress the resources of the planet. It's a crazy idea, but they convince people of that, Isabel, and now they're like, yeah, maybe we missed the mark on that a little.
Yeah, in case you didn't hear this, because Lord knows the media didn't cover it, just a few days ago, Bill Gates came forward and said, yeah, oops, actually, there is no climate crisis anymore. We fixed it. Sorry to have alarmed you that we're all going to die in literally 12 years. I mean, the propaganda is just insanity, but I have to say, I'm just so encouraged to see ordinary people, regardless of where you fall in the political spectrum or what your personal deepest held values are, realizing that life is meant to be shared with the people that we love. Just a few days ago, the Wall Street Journal came to our house and covered my family on the cover of the Wall Street Journal about the revival of the American family and young women really tapping into this idea that we can have thriving careers and entrepreneurship and some of the girl boss culture without the toxic corporate element to that. But more importantly, that means nothing if we don't have our children to share it with and a legacy to build upon, which had resoundingly positive effects and lots of great response from people. So I'm incredibly excited about this family revival. My daughter means so much more to me than any paycheck ever will. And the response I'm getting, even from young women on the very radical left about this, that they're quitting their birth control, they're deleting their dating apps, they are desperate to find a God-fearing husband and wanting to build a family out of the big city and restoring American roots of what the American dream has always looked like. I love to see it.
Can you just have a little conversation though with some of your female millennial peers? These oversized like dad they're not even dad jeans. They're I don't know what they are. These giant jeans that these women are walking around
Am
in.
I wearing baggy jeans from the 90s right now? Yes, I am. You know what?
Oh.
I'm all about it. The mom jean has made a return, and my postpartum mom body is grateful for it.
Allie, is she wearing am I telling her to shut down the mom jeans and she's wearing them right now in the studio? Oh.
They're not like
Respectable jeans,
horribly
okay.
baggy, but they are
Some
pretty
of these
baggy.
jeans that I see these young women wearing, I'm like, you might as well be wearing a burqa. I'm just saying, this is crazy talk, but apparently some of you think they're comfortable. I'm not a fashion guy as I sit here in a T-shirt, but I will say...
it's funny you say burqa. I actually saw several burqas in the wild in Washington, D.C. a few days ago. So sadly, here in New York, where I am too, I think that will probably be one of the next fashion statements if we don't bring back a classic boot cut jean. Yeah.
I'm all about the classic American jean. All right, Isabel Brown Show. Go check it out, everybody. And Isabel, thank you for being here with us. Great to talk to you. Thanks for coming to hang with the team in New York.
Thanks for having me back. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. There's not another not-profit out there that does what Preborn does, and I'm so glad that they're doing what they do, because Preborn is saving the lives of tiny babies day in and day out. Consider how they welcomed Victoria at one of their clinics. Before she visited one of the Preborn clinics, Victoria found herself at a Planned Parenthood facility. She was scared, confused, and desperate. She was handed the abortion pill, but almost immediately she thought that would be a tragic mistake. The weight of regret was so crushing, she even thought about ending her own life. But her continuing search led her to a Preborn network clinic where truth and clarity broke through. Their loving staff members gave her immediate care and helped her save not just her baby's life, but her own. Victoria got truthful answers about matters related to her unborn child at that Preborn clinic, because when a mother hears it, lives are saved. Just $28 provides a free ultrasound to women like Victoria. That single gift, that experience of meeting her unborn child, makes all the difference. This is your chance to make a difference too. Will you answer the call? Pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say baby. That's pound 250, say baby, or donate securely at preborn.com/buck. Preborn.com/BUCK. Do it now because life matters. Sponsored by Preborn.